Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
We'd like to get a budget that represents the interests of the people who are standing here with me now.
To be part of the struggle to achieve a better society for all.
And that's why today I'm very pleased to cast my vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Liz Koenig. The New York State Assembly's Racing and Wagering Committee met this week and they passed its version of a mobile sports betting bill. It has a matching Senate bill. However, it's much different than the governor's proposal in this year's State of the State address. It does include Rivers Casino in Schenectady as well as other casinos. Joining us to talk about this bill virtually is our guest, Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, who represents the 111th Assembly District, which includes parts of Albany, Schenectady, and all of Montgomery County. He's been a long-standing member of the Racing and Wagering Committee and a sponsor of the bill and hopes to see it passed soon. Assemblyman, welcome welcome to our show, and thank you so much for coming in today. Always great to see you, even if it's just like this.
Yes, great to see you too. And although we are doing this remotely, it's great to be back on the show. And I hope to see talk about more legislation in this upcoming session. It's a lot of work to do, and this is one of many bills that we're looking at as we're looking for ways to generate revenue, as people have talked about in recent times because of all that we've been through last year with COVID. We're looking for ways to rebuild our economies and close that budget gap.
Now, I know this is a proposal that you've been talking about since last session. The measure wasn't passed last year, but now it was included in the governor's State of the State, and we see that it seems to be moving in both houses. What happened? What's changed since last year?
Well, it's encouraging to see the governor change his position now to actually support sports betting. We have not seen that in the past. We didn't have that support last session. This is, in my opinion, it's something that should have been passed when we passed the original sports betting bill that allowed sports betting to take place inside the casinos. You have to go in and actually place the bet. The mobile piece of that was not included. I think it should have been included. We saw states like New Jersey that did include it, and they have generated quite a bit of revenue even through the COVID period. That piece, that element is missing here in New York State. And I think there's more support now because, everybody's learned through the pandemic, learned to do things differently. And just as we're doing this show remotely, a lot of businesses have made the switch to online, to a virtual setting, have made that transition to doing all or some or all of their business online, and this is something that is needed right now because a lot of people are not physically going to businesses, including casinos. And we have Rivers, just down the road here, Rivers Casino in Schenectady, that they're only at 25% capacity. So they can't. People, sometimes even if you want to go, you can't. So that revenue supports a lot of our community. That's how the structure was built when the casino was approved, where that revenue would go to support different parts of our community, local economies. A lot of that has gone away. Only 25% of it has come back. A lot of that is the sports book. When it came online, it was just a tremendous amount of revenue that was generated. And this kind of puts things, there's more support for it because I think people are looking for creative ways, not only to generate revenue, but also to restore a lot of the business operations that were in place before COVID hit. So I think that there may have been people that were not supporting this bill. They now are taking another look at it, and not just this bill, a lot of other bills that kind of transition things to a virtual option. Mobile sports betting is one of those options, and I think that now is a good time to do this for a number of different reasons, considering where we are and where we need to be with recovery from COVID-19.
What exactly is mobile sports betting, and how would it change the market in New York State?
Well, it's an interesting. If you look at the history of sports betting, in sports betting has the Supreme Court overturned their decision to allow states to make their own decisions. But when we authorized the casinos, that wasn't the case. So the casinos opened. Sports betting was not permitted at the time because of the court decision wasn't decided yet. However, the truth is, a lot of people were doing sports betting anyways. $150 billion industry that operated underground, offshore accounts, and in an underground market. And sports betting took that out of the shadows and brought it into the casinos in a responsible way, a clear, a transparent way, and not doing it in these other avenues that there was. It was an unregulated market, and now it has become a regulated market, and it comes at a benefit to the state, a benefit to those that do want to engage in sports betting. So now the mobile piece of it, what we're finding is, some states adopted it, some didn't. New York, the governor wasn't behind it, didn't support the mobile part of it. But the truth is, we hear stories every day about people driving across the border to New Jersey with their cell phone, pushing that, getting the bets, aligning up the bets on their cell phone, driving across or taking the train across into New Jersey, pushing the button to place the bet, getting on the platform, coming back, or turning around and driving back. And people do this all the time just to be a part of New Jersey's mobile sports betting piece of it, especially right now where you may not be able to go even place your bet in a casino. Those are New York dollars going to our neighboring states. That's something that shouldn't happen. This is a market that's moving on without us. There are people that are doing sports betting. They're finding ways to do it. We went through this with MMA a few years back. People were driving across, getting on a bus, going to other states to compete, and that kind of competition wasn't allowed here. Those are New York dollars leaving our state. If we look at New Jersey, they are generating significant revenue, compared to, our drop in revenue in sports betting. Even with the casinos open, it is one of their top markets, but it's just limited. And right now, what we need to do is support businesses, if they want to go virtual, online, they want to do things differently. It's our job to support them and find ways to allow them to do that. So the mobile just opens up to market, opens up new jobs, opens up new encourages new business in this market. So I think it's a win-win, considering the revenue that will be brought in that can support. We need funding for our schools right now. We need funding to support communities as they recover. This is revenue we're losing anyway to other states. It should remain here in New York. So the mobile part of it expands that market significantly to bring in that revenue.
Now, as you said, this proposal is nothing new in the Assembly. However, the governor, his proposed bill is much different. So was sports betting already addressed when the casinos, like Rivers Casino in your area, when they were authorized in upstate New York?
Yeah, well, the enabling legislation of 2013 actually had addressed sports betting in the bill itself. When we authorized the casinos in upstate New York, it actually had a component in there that acknowledged that although sports betting was not allowed, should the court ever overturn it, these casinos will be able to do it. And that was always the plan. And so we sort of crossed that bridge back then. So going forward, the casinos should be included in the structure. Now, the governor's proposal is different because the governor's proposal only allows the state to be the primary collector of those revenues generated, which I don't believe to be in the best bet to boost our local economies, which is what we need right now. And I can speak to Rivers in my, in this area here, in the Schenectady area, that they have supported the local economy, and even beyond those borders, they have generated a lot of revenue. There has been a lot of investment in the area because of all they have done to bring in business and support local businesses. And I think that's the model that we've always intended when we authorize the casinos. I don't think it's right that the governor wants to change that now. and he mentioned it in his State of the State a few times. I think that's the wrong way to go. I think the bill that we just passed in the Racing and Wagering Committee is the bill that we've been pushing for all along. The bill that we tried to get the governor's support last year, that we didn't have his support, but now we're seeing that it's encouraging to see him support the concept and the idea of having New York reclaim those dollars and have mobile sports betting here. However, the proposal that he has put forth is much different than anybody ever intended, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for those dollars to be shared with local communities to boost our local economies, and I think this bill is the right bill, and it's the way to go. It has a matching Senate bill, so it gives it a little more strength. We have two bills now in both houses. They just, our bill just moved through committee. We expect the Senate bill to move simultaneously at the same time. We hope to get that in front of the governor's desk after it comes to the floor. I would expect these bills would pass much easier now than maybe they would have faced some opposition in years past. People are seeing things differently now. We're at a time where we need to look for creative solutions to fill that budget gap. And this is not the silver bullet. This is not going to solve all our budget problems, but it can be part of a bigger solution, though. So I think that the longer we wait, the longer we lose out on what we're seeing in New Jersey, which is, significant revenue to support their budget, to support their communities. A lot of those dollars they are seeing, those are New York dollars. They just happen to be going to New Jersey now because we don't have mobile sports betting. And I think we need to, this is something we can change right now. We can do it pretty quickly once we get these bills passed.
Now, as with other proposals which expand gambling in New York State, there's always a criticism that it's going to enable more people to gamble and get themselves into trouble. What are your thoughts on that?
And this is a topic that came up last year, and it came up, it's coming up again now. And the truth is, this is a $150 billion industry that was operating underground. And this bill took that out of the shadows. This bill will do exactly the same. It will allow people to do sports betting and not get themselves in trouble because we will have the same consumer protections that we have at all the casinos. It's going to be safe, transparent, and people will be able to do it in an open and transparent manner. And that's the way it should be done. It should be done in a legal way so that people don't get themselves in trouble, which I think doing it in an underground market, that does get people in trouble. This is the correct way to do it. It's a win-win for the state. It allows people to do it safely and transparently. And I hope to see this bill move forward as part of our budget solution. I know we're going to be back in session real soon here. We just finished our this last week of session, Racing and Wagering met. And I hope to see this bill move forward. And I urge the governor to support it so that we can move this forward and move on to additional things that we need to do for our communities and for our state.
Okay, we only have a few seconds left, but I just wanted to check. Now, there are a number of ways people can learn more about this legislation, stay up to date on these issues. Why don't you tell us what those are?
Yes, they can visit my website. They can sign up for my newsletter. I know we're doing things sort of virtually now, but I put out an email to some of the constituents that are on my list. They can visit my website, get on that email list, visit my website, www.assembly.ny.state under Assemblymember Angela Santabarbara, and you will find a legislative section where you can read about the bill and also send me an email or ask questions about it. And I encourage people to do that as we get through these challenging times. There's always a way to connect with me, and I look forward to anybody that wants to ask questions about this or any legislation for that matter. There's always a way to do it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. We've been speaking with Assemblyman Angela Santabarbara, who represents the 111th Assembly District, Montgomery County, and parts of Schenectady and Albany counties. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.